Right now, the ladies' one fall championship match. Delta Dawn, no question the favorite. Delta Dawn from Prince George, British Columbia. 130 pounds in her second year of professional wrestling. Already one of the great crowd favorites. Delta Dawn has been up and down the road, spending a lot of time and gaining an awful lot of fans, we said, all throughout British Columbia.
I did have dreams to find out what was out there, what more I could do. Everything that I've done in my life, I've always tried to achieve something higher or better.
Now, this is one way to do it, right here on television. Delta Dawn with a beautiful takedown.
My name is Dawn Murphy. I am a professional wrestler that goes by the name of Delta Dawn.
This lady right here, one of the greatest women wrestlers this world has ever seen. Talk to him, Delta.
And listen to me. Destiny's gonna get all of you, you hear me? Destiny's after you.
Pets were always big for me. It's kind of strange that I went from cats to snakes, but my snakes love me just the same way my cats did. We went to so many different championships. I had no idea Dad was collecting all of these. Here's another one of wrestling. I'm so young. A former Dutchess Park Secondary School student is adding professional promotion to her career in the ring. So I grew up in the Island Cache, and the Island Cache was prominent for Métis Indigenous people. That was an area that we were accepted because at that time there was a lot of racism in Prince George. Dawn admits to being a bit apprehensive, but she remains confident. It's a bit scary, but I know Prince George, and I've been around enough wrestlers that I know I can handle them. So here's a family photo. My mom, Helda. My mom is Indigenous. She is actually carrier from Lake Babine, and my father is Ukrainian from Knuso, Alberta. Dad, you can tell he's an absolute Ukrainian. He always used to tell me, use your halwa. That's use your head in Ukrainian. He always loved wrestling. And that is me. I was a very quiet, shy little Indian girl. My dad and my grandpa were always going to wrestling and I would go with them. And I always liked meeting the wrestlers, so I came up with this idea to be a business entrepreneur. Polaroids were huge at that time, so I bought myself a Polaroid camera, and somebody wanted a picture of a wrestler.
Here you are, Bruiser.
And they would just pay me for my Polaroid.
You're welcome.
So the promoter got to know me, and I started talking to him about wrestling.
Mr. Tomko, do you have a moment?
I'm guessing you're Dawn.
Yes, sir.
I like your setup. How's business been?
Not bad. Today was a bit slow. Mr. Tomko, I was...
Please, call me Al.
Okay, Al. I was hoping to ask you a few questions about wrestling.
All right. What do you want to know?
I had so many questions for him on training and what that looked like and how old do you have to be? How do you become a wrestler?
How much time do you have?
So one year it was just coming up to the end of a school year and...
Hey, Al.
Looks like you had a successful day.
Not bad, eh? And I probably would have made more if I didn't run out of film. I should probably get going. I need to pick up some more before tomorrow's match.
Before you go, can you chat quick?
Sure.
Well, I know how keen you are about wrestling, and I was wondering if you'd be interested in doing some training.
Are you serious?
We have a wrestling school in Vancouver, and we'd love to have you.
Yes, that that would be absolutely amazing.
We'll have to ask your parents first, of course, but if they say yes, we'll get you registered right away.
So I went back to my parents and pleaded to go, and thankfully my parents agreed to let me go and try out.
All right, guys, that's enough. Good. Dawn, you're up.
It was scary, very scary.
You're gonna go 10 minutes with Jim here.
And I barely made it the 10 minutes.
Let's start with a lockup.
And all I remember is falling down on the edge of the mat, and I literally blacked out. I just remember laying in that ring and thinking, did I do the right thing? And Al just laughed. And he's like...
And you thought this would be easy, didn't you?
And I said, yes, I did.
I did think this was gonna be easy.
The first couple of matches were like that.
Take a break, girl.
Once you go through that, you break it into your body, you end up beating that. It just came natural to me. Either you can do it or you can't. Locking up with somebody, you can feel it in your bodies. You know when somebody is solid and they're capable of being thrown around and taking those bumps. You can feel it in the person's body. Al was so impressed. I really focused my time. I knew that I had to put all my efforts into something that I loved, which was wrestling.
Shalimar from Las Vegas, Nevada. She's 5'5", weighs 135 pounds, and she's got a match with Delta Dawn.
As I started to enter the ring, it did take a bit of time on figuring out what my persona was. I started out fairly neutral, just going in as a female wrestler. I didn't even have a wrestling name at that time, and I was actually living in Delta. And Al, joking at the time, said, "What about Delta Dawn?" I was like, I don't know. That doesn't sound like me. But the audience seemed to love it. So I was a pet lover of all sorts. Growing up, I had fish, I had cats, I had dogs. And I just had this passion for snakes. And Precious came into my life, and Precious was a Burmese python. People were so afraid of snakes, and here I am, a female with a 7-foot Burmese python, starting so young. Unfortunately, I did become a bit detached because I didn't really know who I was. People need to know who they are and where they come from, and not really fully understanding my Indigenous background. I kind of got lost there a little bit. My grandfather played a huge role in my life. So it was actually from my grandfather's side that I inherited a headdress. Normally a female doesn't wear a headdress, so I was a bit leery on how I would be accepted wearing a headdress into the ring. But when I first adorned that headdress, I actually had tears in my eyes. I realized then that that was meant to be, and that it was going to be with me forever. That really became my backbone and my strength. Ever since that moment, I started wearing my headdress. And when I got into the ring and a feather fell, every feather absolutely means something. So I would never leave a feather behind. As I started progressing in my wrestling in Canada, my dream was always to make it to Japan. Japan is one of the top places for the wrestling sport. So I was continually sending my videos over to Japan and try and get recruited. And I never thought that I ever would. I always thought that I was always going to be Canada-based. I am actually looking at my contract with All Japan Women's Pro Wrestling. I don't even remember signing this. Oh, this was absolutely the best moment of my life. When I went to Japan and they showed us the Tokyo Dome, I was overwhelmed just seeing how many seats were in there. I mean, in Canada, it was just floor seats, but in Tokyo Dome, I mean, it goes from the floor and it goes all the way up on the whole entire circle of it. This intimidation came upon me and I was like, am I going to be able to do this? I tell you, the first time I walked out into that stadium, I had butterflies, but there's no way I could turn back. Now was the time I needed to turn it on. And I became a completely different person the minute I walked out of that dressing room. Unfortunately, probably put my wrath upon these poor Japanese fellow competitors. I'd be grabbing her hands and pulling these roots from her hair. The audience just absolutely detested me. That shy little Indian girl that was always intimidated and felt so much racism put upon her, I was able to break free of that. I no longer had to be ashamed of not knowing who I was. I knew who I was when I walked into that ring. So Chigusa and the Lioness Asuka were the top wrestlers in Japan at the time.
Nagaya Chigusa, and the screamers are screaming. Look at this, very popular fighters here. That's Lioness Asuka that we've also seen before, giving her all.
And I found out that the Lioness Asuka was deathly afraid of snakes. And so I knew that I found a weakness. The snake must have sensed her fear and latched around her and constricted. And not only was she afraid, but I was afraid because once they have it on, they go for death. I'm trying to stick my fingers up underneath and you could feel the muscles of that snake just constricting even more. And I thought, oh my God, she's gonna choke. In Japan, they throw ribbons, but they unroll. That's what people started throwing, all these ribbons being hit in the head. And I'm like, just stop, I'm trying to get this snake off her. So I just started pinching my snake and finally it dropped the constriction and it pulled back. And my God, Lioness Asuka just wanted to get out of the ring. Thankfully, she survived. Asuka survived, but I'm pretty sure she'll never be around another snake ever again. When I landed in Vancouver and not having, those cameras and lights flashing in your face, I kind of felt lost without it. To some extent, I really wanted to go back to Japan, and it was the adrenaline that I really got addicted to. We always try so hard to stay in that limelight and to continue to keep our fans and our fan base happy, and sometimes that's a detriment on our body. I had quite a few injuries. I had blown out my knee, I had done some damage to my shoulder.
Delta Dawn taking an awful lot of abuse here from Shalimar.
Just a lot of bumps that I had taken over the years. So that's where I put my wrestling on the back burner. But at the time, it was really hard letting wrestling go. It was like family, so to let that go is really hard. So when I came back to Canada, I wanted to settle down, get married, and start looking at possibly having a baby. I later found out that my body was so damaged that there was never going to be an opportunity. And I thought I quit wrestling for no reason.
I'm very sorry, Mrs. Murphy. I know that this isn't the outcome you were anticipating.
There isn't some sort of procedure that can be done, like surgery?
Unfortunately, no.
And I tried in vitro fertilization. I paid a lot of money, and I lost a couple of times. And again, that intimidation of that I'm not worthy really started sinking in again.
However, there are other options to starting a family. It's not something we need to discuss today, but perhaps something to think about.
We continued to proceed, and there was a mother that was prepared to give birth, and she had 5 families that she was considering, and we were one of them. And I was so nervous that, was I gonna be good enough? And so we get to Vancouver, and the first thing we had to do is meet the birth mom, and she met. And we had our heart to heart. She shared her pain. She said, I want her to be raised in an Indigenous family that knows the struggles of being Indigenous. And she shook my hand and she said, I wanted to let you know that I am choosing you. The birth mom picked her up and she handed her to me. And she put her in my arms. She said, this is your baby. Take good care of her for me. And it just so happened that the birth father was the Ukrainian side, just like my dad, and the birth mom was Indigenous. It was like it was meant to be, because I am Ukrainian and I am carrier. This would have been in the 80s. Doesn't say what year, but by the looks of the pictures, it's definitely the 80s. Here again, it talks about my wrestling school again, so young. This is 1985, Delta Dawn Plans School. I'm trying to find this one of, there was, oh, here's it. There's my headdress. But as you can see, it went right from my head all the way down to my feet. But now it's all in a safe place. here it is. Who would have ever thought that that little Indian girl in the cache would be in this showcase? When I went to Japan, I ended up being approached by BC Sports Hall of Fame. They had done some research and really wanted me to be a part of the BC Sports Hall of Fame.
Oh, it's really cool. I get to tell all my friends, hey, look, it's my mom right there in the Hall of Fame. She'll beat you up.
I quit wrestling partly because I wanted something like you, and I'm so proud of you.
At Delta Dawn from Prince George, British Columbia.
You wouldn't think that some small town girl could accomplish so many different things. It's okay for the struggles that I went through. It's okay for the traumas that I've went through, for how hard I worked all the way through each and every one of those steps to where I am today.
She's a BC Indigenous Sports Hall of Famer.
Being gifted this beautiful child in the very end is probably the biggest reward out of all of it. To be the first Indigenous woman to compete in Japan and to do it at such a young age as well, I'm absolutely honored to do that and to be that, to represent my entire family, not just here in Prince George, but also my mom's family in Lake Babine. Very honored to come back to Canada and to still be here representing and still pushing Indigenous people to achieve greatness. No matter what ethnic race you are or what income level you have, your deepest desires can come true if you truly put your heart and your work and your effort into all of it. My name is Dawn Murphy, and I am Carrier Ukrainian from the Beaver clan. I am a professional wrestler that goes by the name of Delta Dawn.